Where was I?
You were telling me about the party at KU.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yes. So he went and did this with me, and he kicked ass and took names for very little money. He was such a sweetheart. I think we made $200 total on that party. But because he did it, I took him to the next party, and he made $2,600 on his own. And then he was hooked. And so he would do any event I asked him to do. And he got better and better and better and better. And don't forget, he was a teacher. He got better and better and better and better as he went. And he got to the point where if Shelly hadn't had, it was him that had the personal problem. His father died. And his mother committed suicide. Both his parents died. Yes. So.
It's tough.
So he was out of it. And I knew I couldn't do it with Shelly. Shelly was great. She was great, and she was really a great bartender, and she had really good accounting sense. She didn't have what Brian had.
Yeah.
And I couldn't go on without him. And then at that point, I was done. I was so tired. I was so tired. I had 4 events: Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, every week. So I'm planning all of these events, and then sending people to most of them and going to one. And I was just tired. I didn't have anybody to help me, really. And that's why I was going forward like that. Because I was going to have 2 people, and it was going to be much better. And I just didn't have it in me to keep going forward at that pace anymore. So, by myself.
Yeah, by yourself. By yourself, where would be a good place to stay then if you don't have...
45. It's a great place to stay. You can make good money at that point.
But if you get to...
Do you need to make $250,000 a year?
How much?
Do you need to make $250,000 a year?
Sure.
Do you need to? Really?
Well, I can make it other ways. Okay,
if you don't need to make that much money a year, stay at 45 and make 150. People can live on between 140 and 150, right? And still leave stuff for their kids and pay for the house. Stay there unless you're ready to move up, but you're paying for it. You got to pay for it. You get up to that level. You can go as high as you want to. You can have a legacy to leave. You can get your kids involved. You can. There's all sorts of stuff that you can do at that level.
Yeah, I guess I was kind of thinking ahead because I was like, I could fly them in and make them come to your class.
Well, hell yeah.
Or whatever.
Well, here's the thing, though. When you're 65, 70 years old, do you want to be running a mega company that you have to run 7 days a week? Do you want to? Or
do I want something that's residual, that is running and I'm not doing all the work?
That's right. That you now are the owner of the company, and now you've made it into an LLC or something, a limited liability or an S corp or something like that. And you've done that, and you've got somebody else running it, and they just pay you paychecks, and you travel. Right. That's great, but you've got to build it for about 10 years before you can do that. So, what do you want to do? That's what's going to matter to you. I can help you get started. I can help you.
I think the biggest thing right now is getting started, and then see. It's important for me to leave a legacy for my kids, and because I have so many, I have a lot of help that I could get. You know what I'm saying? I have, it's not like I have to go outside, I can go within.
Yeah, you can go, that'd be great, man.
Yeah.
Excuse me just a minute. Miss freaking. She knows, too. She's ready to run.
You passing gas?
Oh, yeah, open the door.
She's gonna come over here now. Are you hiding?
Watch this. Open the door, she'll run.
You passing gas?
Oh. She's like,
go ahead.
I didn't go yesterday, and now I've gone a bunch, but I still have problems. Sorry. Okay. So, to make a really long story short, you can build a great business and do really well in this city. You can go to another city and do the same damn thing. You can go to a smaller city that's up and coming if you wanted to, and lay the groundwork, but that's much more work. That's what I did here. It's a ton more work. It's a lot of scratching, right? There's an established community here that you can work with. As a matter of fact, I'll even give you Denise Herbel's number. Denise Herbel she's the head of catering for Constantino's.
Oh, really?
And she does catering for really inexpensively because it's Constantino's. But she is this artist like you wouldn't believe. She makes
I see their cakes and stuff.
Flower arrangements out of fruit that are like sculpted. And the food is great and it's beautiful. And because that's what she does. And I use her for all of my events. It takes a little bit of convincing because it is a build from Constantino's. It takes a little bit of convincing. If people want to do Brancato and Michael Smith and all this stuff.
They're famous caterers here.
The food's no better. As a matter of fact, you pay way more for much less.
So how do you get to know like these caterers? How do you get to know how good they are? Do you go to events or
they'll be at the events you start out at?
Okay.
Like you'll go to one cool thing about being a private bartender is that when there's an event going on, they always want you to eat because they have catered in this event, and they'll always want you to take a break. If you start out with weddings, it's always during the toasts and stuff like that. Like that, you take a break, you step out, and you go and you fill your plate, and you eat. Okay, because they pay for catering, and there's always gonna be something. Unless it's a sit-down meal, that's different. But if it's at a $30, at that level, it's mostly gonna be a buffet type of thing. And you're gonna go to each one. You're gonna talk to the guys. They're gonna go, oh, I'm a bartender, I'm starving. I'm like, hey, they're gonna give you all the good stuff. And you'll say, okay, what do you want to drink? And you go in and you'll make them a bunch of drinks while things are going on, and they'll be back there and hopefully drinking, your drinks, and they're gonna be giving you the best food. And then you're gonna exchange cards. And the next time they have an event and the bartender flaked out or somebody, the event bar, guess what? I know this bartender. Let me call him. See. Or the next event that you start planning, say, I have these great guys. I taste every time I go and eat their food. It's so fabulous, and this is what it tastes like. You don't know. Denise can use all the business, but you have to. But it's her. It's not Constantino's. You can't call Constantino's and say I want a catered event. You just call Denise. Right, and she will help you do that. There are independent caterers that you'll meet at all sorts of really cool little events. Like if you ever do any of the LGBT events around the city,
LGBT,
lesbian, gay, that community. If you do that, any of the events for them, they have. I don't know what it is about the gays. Men make it awesome. And they have little catering companies within their community. And like there's one in particular. I can't remember I've got his card on. I'll try and get all my cards together and give you a copy. Okay. I'll send you a copy. But this one guy, his name's Mark, and his husband Kenny is a florist, and Mark is a chef. And man, I'm telling you, his food is really simple and very pretty. Of course, it's very pretty. It has all of Kenny's floral arrangements around it, and it's perfectly made, and it tastes so good. You can eat. He's got these little, almost like, what is it, gnocchi? Only it's not really gnocchi. It's wrapped in bacon, and I can sit and eat like 5 plates. I can sit down and just. I don't know, but it's so good. I mean, things like that. And I've used him twice for events that need it. Okay, you'll understand the events that need it. Okay, but I use Denise for almost everything else. I would rather die than use Brancatos.
Brancatos?
We did the Bernstein Rain event, the 50-year event for them, and I have worked with them before, and they are the worst.
Really?
The worst. They hire a bunch of Mexicans that are legal. Nothing bad about Mexicans, but they're all fucking illegal. You can't speak English. And
that's so funny because that's what happens at the And at the Overland Park Convention Center, that's what happened. And I was gonna tell Brian, I'm gonna give you some feedback, because this guy Brian, whatever his last name is, or something, he had this meeting. He's telling everybody what to do.
Airmark?
No, it was for Airmark, yeah. And so, they go out and they don't do anything he said. He said, don't serve the bread until after the prayer. Well, they were out serving the bread, like, and I'm like,
speak English.
Right.
Because they don't understand, they just nod.
And then they were fighting if you tried to put something on. He said, don't, you can't hog up the serving things. And I went to put something over, and this woman almost jumped me right in front of everybody. I'm like, you better calm yourself down,
Yeah.
It was like, wow. It was interesting.
I would work for Airmark.
Yeah, I didn't know that's what it was for, but it was quite interesting.
But I mean, Mankatos is the same way, and you know what they do? They put everything out. They speak to no one. They just put it all out, right? And they're very good at rotating and making rounds and making sure nothing is empty or even down. Very good at that. Okay, that's why they hire. Okay, so they keep everything. It seems like a smooth event. But behind the scenes, they're out in the freaking truck in the box, smoking weed, and playing, and just dumping crap on the ground, and just being gross and stupid. But they're very good at keeping things smoothly running, because there's a group of them, and they just keep rotating. They're on the same rotating, and that's why they get on. That's why they get called, is because they're smooth. Nobody ever has to worry about it. And then, and they're not supposed to do this, but they're supposed to wrap everything up and leave it at the event. But a lot of times, people over order, especially if they don't have somebody that knows what they're doing, and they'll end up with like 3 big pans of pulled pork, and the event's over. And they don't want it. And so they try and give it to the guests, or sometimes they'll try and give it to the bartenders. Do you want this? I can say, hey, if it's a Saturday or Sunday, I can say, hey, I can take it and donate it to the bartending school, to the students, because and they can have lunch while they're in school, type of thing. I will do that. But as soon as they say, does anybody want that? Or they start offering it, little Mexicans that don't speak English and are illegal, they're like, oh yes, thank you, and they'll take it and run with it. And that bugs the crap out. I let them ask first. Okay, all right, I'll let them ask first, and then we're done anyway. I have another plan. Someone else come in. Okay. But I'll let them ask everybody else first, and then I'll say donate to the bartenders. Okay. Thanks, guys.